Assalamu alaikum and hi to everyone. Today our topic is Unit 2 of ProQual Level 7 Diploma in Strategic Health and Safety Leadership and Management. So today we will discuss all the learning outcomes and assessment criteria for this unit. So the unit number is J/618/5598. It is the third unit of ProQual Level 7 Diploma in Strategic Health and Safety Leadership and Management. So, the name of the unit is Digital Technologies and Incident Investigation. So, first of all, what is the aim of this unit? The aim of this unit is to provide candidates with the knowledge of digital technologies and risk assessment approach to various types of hazards and incident investigations. So, uh, in the name, we don't have risk assessment, but we will cover that topic also. And the focus will be that how the knowledge of digital technologies and risk assessment can help to identify and control different risks and hazards, and also how these digital technologies and risk assessment can help to investigate any incident or accident. So before going to the first learning outcome of this unit is consist of 7 learning outcomes and 23 assessment criteria. So if the candidates who are doing this qualification are aiming to do this qualification to achieve this unit pass, they have to pass all the assessment criteria of this unit. Like they have to, if they want to complete this unit, they have to complete all the 23 assessment criteria. As we are discussing before, and we also have, I also you can see that I have recorded all the lectures for level 6 diploma NVQ, and now we are working on level 7 diploma. So there is two things. The first thing is learning outcome, and the second thing is assessment criteria. And in short form, we are using the abbreviation LO for learning outcomes, and for assessment criteria, we are using the abbreviation AC. AC for assessment criteria, and when we are having AC capital and small s, it means ACs means assessment criteria. So now onward, we will discuss first the learning outcome and then the assessment criteria related to each learning outcome. Moving forward, the first learning outcome the learner will, number one is understand the effects of digital technologies on strategic and operational occupational health and safety management. As you know very well that this level 7 diploma is all about the strategic health and safety leadership and management. So the first learning outcome is just showing the same, that the purpose of this learning outcome is to give the learners, give the candidates the understanding with the effect of digital technologies, that how they are affecting the strategic operational activities of any organization's occupational health and safety management system. So technically, you can say after this learning outcome, uh, a learner uh, will have the knowledge, the candidate will have the knowledge of effects of digital technologies on strategic occupational health and safety management systems. So, as I have told you, that there are 7 learning outcomes, and each learning outcome has different assessment criteria. And in total, these assessment criteria are 23. So here we can see the learning outcome. One, understand the effects of digital technologies on strategic and operational occupational health and safety management. And now we have here three assessment criteria for this learning outcome. So the first assessment criteria 1.1 is evaluate the impact of digital technology on occupational health and safety within an organization. That in this assessment criteria, uh, a candidate, a learner should be evaluating the impact of that how digital technology is affecting occupational health and safety within an organization. So here we will use this word, even this is in the title of this third unit of this diploma program, the word digital technologies. What we understand normally with digital technologies are what digital technologies we are normally using here in this in occupational health and safety. So these are basically real-time communications. These are IoT, internet things. So basically Internet of Things, and then we are having different like remote control technologies, sensor technologies are there, and different means what we can use with regard to or which relate to technology. And when we are using that technologies for occupational health and safety, then definitely these digital technologies will affect the occupational health and safety management system. So the first assessment criteria is evaluate the impact of digital technology on occupational health and safety within an organization. So everyone can give a good explanation of this and that how they are evaluating this. But when it comes to the evidences, there is an issue of people are have facing learners or candidates are facing issue for providing the evidences with regard to this. So do remember when it comes to ProQual level 7 diploma, it is RQF qualification. So it's better to provide evidences with accordance to each assessment criteria, but still there is a leverage there that even if you can explain something very well and there is maybe there is no evidence of that available with the candidate, he can only explain that thing according to his organization, can give a good picture, then it's enough to pass that assessment criteria. So in the first assessment criteria 1.1, what type of evidence anyone can use. So in the organization, you can see there that many organizations are having their intranet systems there. They are using different software. They are using internet facilities. Or they are using IoT. They are using different means of technology for this purpose. So you have to give evidence of something like in your organization that is a digital technology and which is used by your organization with regard to occupational health and safety. So you have to provide evidence of that. Then in 1.2, analyze the ways in which advanced robotics and artificial intelligence, AR and AI. Okay, so the short forms for both of these things or words are AR and AI. Do remember, mostly you can see there AR and AI. So it means advanced robotics and artificial intelligence could contribute to the improved reduction of risk. So here you have to provide an analysis. Analysis of what? You have to provide analysis that how AR, advanced robotics, and AI, artificial intelligence, is contributing. For what purpose? For the reduction of risk. Like what type of technology in your organization you are using and which is under the cover of advanced robotics and artificial intelligence, and is working there and contributing in the reduction of risk. You have to give your analysis on it. But when it comes to the providing a supportive evidence of that, it's analysis. You can even if explain very well, and then it's fine. You don't have to provide the evidence for that, but still there is a chance how you can provide, like, if your organization has in place artificial intelligence or advanced robotic system there, sorry, artificial advanced robotics and artificial intelligence system there, to reduce the risk, to improve reduction of risk, then you can provide evidence of. Then number 1.3, analyze the way in which advanced robotics and artificial intelligence could be detrimental to workers' mental health longer term, and develop a response that addresses these highlighted risks. So every one of you knew very well, at workplaces, the mental health is also a big issue. You see there are specific courses for these mental health. They work on mental health. They are related to mental health. So there are a lot of things which are all about the mental health. So in this 1.3 assessment criteria, uh, th- this assessment criteria demands from you as a learner, as a candidate, that you have to analyze the role of advanced robotics and artificial intelligence when it comes to workers' mental health, longer term, and develop a response that addresses these highlighted risks. So basically, how these advanced robotics and artificial intelligence can work to address the issues raised, like issue, what issue? Mental health issue, detrimental to workers' mental health, longer term issues. So, how these technologies are used, AR and AI, for this purpose, you have to provide the analysis of that. For example, how what type of evidence you can provide, that if in your organization, if AR and AI are implemented with regard to measuring the risk related to mental health to the workers, you have to provide evidence of that. Like if some type of system is adopted there, if some type of system is implemented there with regard to technology. So there are any remote sensing or remote control systems there, just to check the mental health of workers or anything like that, can be considered as an evidence of your this 1.3 assessment criteria. Okay, so now moving forward, we are having the learning outcome 2. It is about being able to implement a biohazards risk assessment and control measures in the workplace. This learning outcome, after successfully completing the assessment criteria, after successfully completing this section of unit, the learner will be able to implement a biohazard risk assessment and control measure in the workplace. How he can do that, or what are the assessment criteria to evaluate whether he can do or not do, or so we will discuss in its assessment criteria. Sorry. So here in these assessment criteria, we can see there that in the second learning outcome, in the first learning outcome, we have three assessment criteria for this unit. And for this second part, second learning outcome of unit 3, we have four assessment criteria. So the first criteria is 2.1, analyze the way in which exposure and assessment are used in risk management. So it is all about discussing that that how exposures to any risk, exposure to any hazardous places, exposure to any unsafe place, exposure to any place where we can see emergencies or accidents in the future, and the assessment are used. Or assessment means here risk assessment, and these risk assessments are can be specific. These assessments can be sorry, these assessments can be generic. So what basically it needs, this assessment criteria needs from you, that what type of exposure and how exposure and assessment are used in risk management. That you are managing the risk, definitely you need an assessment. Without any assessment, you can't you can't manage the risk, you can't control the risk. For risk management, you should have a clear or well identified risk, and then you can apply a good group of controls over these risk identified. So here, what type of evidence you can provide? You can provide have a good risk assessment, basically not a generic one, a specific risk assessment along with the control measures. What type of risk management system in your organization, you can provide evidence of that, as well as you can provide appropriate risk assessment. What type of risk assessment in which you have got the knowledge of some exposures, you have performed the risk assessments and identified the relevant risk along with their severity, along with their severity level, like low, high, medium. So you have to provide a clear risk assessment considering these points to help your this assessment criteria, to support this assessment criteria. So a specific and appropriate risk assessment can be used here as an evidence for this assessment criteria. Now, in 2.2, analyze the way in which different workplaces can be protected from various identifiable infections. So, you know very well that when it comes to risk, when it comes to safety risk and hazards, that was covered in the first assessment criteria, but still, there are many health hazards present at different workplaces due to different circumstances. Uh, well, so in that case, what are the different ways do you have that in your organization? You have to explain each and everything with regard to your organization, that how different workplaces can be protected from various identifiable infections. Like identifiable infections mean that infections are obvious, like for example, if someone is working in the water, in ponds or anywhere where you have stagnant water, there are any working people working in any workplace where their water, then definitely there will be identifiable infections there due to dirty water, due to other chemicals present in the water. So, other than that, you are working in such places where different type of infections, like if some healthcare workers are working, or medical workers are working in an hospital, so in a hospital, so they can face these issues, these infections. So basically, it is all about discussing that at your workplace, being a candidate, being a learner, or like here you are candidate or a learner, but still you are a health and safety practitioner at your workplace. So you have to analyze here and explain here, analyze here, and then you have to give clear information that how different workplaces can be protected from various identifiable infections. And the better thing is that you relate your information or map your information according to your workplace instead of going generic for that. And when it comes to the evidence will be there that what type of infections controls you have applied in your organization. Definitely, there will be some control points there. Definitely, there will be some action points there. So, how you are controlling that, you should have a plan there. So, you have to provide a copy of that as an evidence to support this 2.2 assessment criteria. Now, moving forward to 2.3, develop a strategy that can limit the spread of infection within different workplaces. Level 7 diploma is for people who are manager or above this post. So definitely they have a part to play, they have a role to play in management, in higher management, or in you can say in top management and middle management. So they should be able to develop a strategy that can limit the spread of infection. For example, in 2.2, we are discussing to protect from various identifiable infections. Now, if there is some type of infection is there present there, then in that case, you should be able to develop a strategy, a plan there to reduce and limit the spread of infection within different workplaces, just to control, the loss, if definitely if you will stop or reduce or limit the spread of infection, it will definitely cut the loss, like loss in any form. So you should be able to develop a strategy. So what type of evidence will be enough here, that you should have a strategy plan there, which is showing that how in your organization, how infectious diseases, or even how diseases are controlled there, with regard to, I'm just discussing the diseases which are relevant to workplace. Okay, so you should provide a strategy plan there. You should provide different meetings in which you have discussed this point, and confirming that you have discussed it, then that will be enough for in support of this assessment criteria 2.3. Now, the last assessment criteria of this learning outcome is 2.4. Analyze the requirement of a risk communication strategy to prevent the spread of infection. Okay, okay, gentlemen, in this assessment criteria, it is all about risk communication. Okay, so it is all about risk communication. So basically, uh, everyone, most of the time, the people knew very well, workers knew very well, management knew very well. Now, normally you can say know very well that what type of infection is there, and how it can disturb them, how it can attack them, how it can spoil them. But still, what happened, that absence of proper risk communication, or absence of risk communication strategy can enhance the spread, instead of preventing that, can can boost the issue of infection spread. So what is required there, that you should be able to analyze the requirements, like what are the requirements for risk communication strategy. For example, if you have performed a good risk assessment about the infection, and even you have identified that infections, but still that is with you, being an health and safety professional, or with the top management, that report, that risk assessment is still with them, then it will not work, because only identification and development of strategy is not enough. There should be a proper risk communication strategy there, which will endorse this, that that identified infections, that risk assessments perform about these infections should be communicated to all the stakeholders to reduce to prevent the spread of infection. So in this regard, what you can do, you can use anything which is confirming that there that you are having a proper risk communication there, and a clear strategy was developed by your team, by your top management in this regard, that risk communication should be performed properly, and that risk communication strategy, that risk communication procedure, that risk communication strategy plan will be enough for to use here to support this 2.4 assessment criteria. Now we are having learning outcome 3. The learner will. In this learning outcome, the learner or candidate can be able to understand the implementation of ecological risk assessment and control measures. So from this learning outcome, you can see there it is all about the uh, ecological risk assessments and control measures at your workplace. So it is, you can say, ecological means here will be environmental. So here we are specifically in this learning outcome, we will be discussing ecological risk assessment, their implementation, and the control measures to resolve to correct these risks associated with environment. So assessment criteria 3.1, in this learning outcome 3, we are having again 4 assessment criteria. So assessment criteria 3.1, analyze the way in which the strategic and management goals of an organization may be met whilst addressing the impact of industrial activities on an ecosystem. So basically, in this assessment criteria, an analysis is required on what on the way that how strategic and management goals of an organization may be met while doing what? While addressing the impact of industrial activities on ecosystem. Like simply, I can say that here the analysis is required on the way that how strategic and management goals of an organization are addressing the activities happening in an organization which can destroy the environment or which can even impact negatively on the environment. As you know very well that mostly in all industrial activities, there will be there are inherently there are environmental issues there, and when we discuss the word environment, it relates to three things. The first thing, air; second, land; and the third thing, water. So industrial activities are the main cause of destroying or contaminating these three elements of environment, like industrial waste coming in the form of liquid will definitely contaminating the water, and even these waste are contaminating the land. And then the when we when in result of industrial activities, you can see smoke and release of different gases is it's contaminating the air. So basically, these why it is focusing on industrial activities, because industrial activities are contaminating each component of environment. So here in this 3.1, it is all about the way in which strategic and management goals can of an organization can be able to address these issues, that these industrial activities are not harmful to the ecosystem. So here you have to discuss that. With regard to this 3.1 assessment criteria, the type of evidences you can use which are confirming that you are working on EMS, environmental management systems, and you have integrated. There should be not only environmental management system, but that EMS, that environmental management system, should be integrated with occupational health and safety management system to gain the results. What results? That to to stop or avoid the industrial activities which are harmful to the ecosystem. So you can provide any evidence which is confirming that you people are working, your organization is not only working on production, are not working on its aim and objective. They are considering health and safety and environment as a priority. They are considering the health and safety and giving the priority to ecosystem. They are giving priority to management system, environment management systems. So that will be enough for this 3.1 assessment criteria. Then moving to the 3.2, develop a realistic risk identification for an organization's ecological activities. Uh, Other than the specific risk identification, the other thing which is much important is realistic. That the risk identification should be realistic and should be specific. So you should be able, a learner should be able, a candidate or an organization or team of people should be able to develop a realistic risk identification for an organization's ecological activities. So it is all about discussing that you have to provide an evidence that you have performed a risk assessment in which you have realistically identified the risk about what? About organizations' ecological activities. So any evidence which is confirming that you people are working or you have performed any risk assessment which is identifying the organization's ecological activities risk, that will be enough to support this assessment criteria 3.2. Now in 3.3, quantify an assessment for an organization's industrial activities. So basically, here you know very well that safety is basically a qualitative thing. Okay, but in some cases, and you have also studied that it can be semi-quantitative in some cases, or in some cases quantitative. But basically, it's by nature a qualitative thing. So here it's quantify an assessment for an organization's industrial activities. So basically you have to quantify that how much assessments are required there, and in each assessment what type of industrial activities are harmful for ecological environment. So even a risk assessment will be enough for this purpose too. Then 3.4, evaluate the strategic and operational requirements of an ecological risk assessment that assess the risk posed by industrial effluent on downstream's ecosystem. It's all about again ecosystem. So basically, it is saying that you should be able to evaluate what you can evaluate? You can evaluate the strategic and operational requirements. For what? For ecological risk assessment. Definitely, if there is a generic risk assessment is there, and the support and the commitment is not shown from top management in the form of strategic plan, strategic management, then it will not work. It will not work in case of ecological system. So basically, you have to evaluate that strategic and operational requirements for ecological risk assessment. That why they are using, why they are necessary, why we are using that, and why we have to do ecological risk assessment. So everything should be there, and it should be coming from the top management. And in case of again, in case of uh, supporting this 3.4 assessment criteria, evidence is required. So here the evidence will be like something coming from the top management, something coming from the strategic management, that how they are considering ecological risk assessment, how they are considering the ecosystems, and what arrangement they have done that through, you can say, strategic plan, operational plans. So anything like that, which is endorsing this fact, can be enough for this assessment criteria 3.4. Now, moving to the next uh, learning outcome, it is about be able to implement engineering solutions for ergonomic hazards and control measure. Now, it will be all about this learning outcome will be all about ergonomics. Okay. So before moving forward to assessment criteria of this learning outcome, I want to discuss with you the ergonomic hazards. Basically, itself, what is ergonomics? It is a relationship between the workplace, the work environment, and the worker. The a relationship between them is ergonomic. Ergonomic itself is a good thing. Like for example, if I have to record the lecture here, so the ergonomic, what ergonomic I required? I required of proper table, proper chair, and the height of my laptop should be on stable surface. It should be well leveled, that I can even easily access this. I can easily watch this. So basically, you can say a comfort zone, a comfortable positioning of a worker with regard to its working environment is ergonomic. So it is not even positioning. Basically, what I have told you, that there are different factors, like four factors are there. It's work, work environment, and the workplace itself. So these factors are contributing to ergonomics: the work, the worker, the work environment, and the worker. So basically, four things are there which are contribute. If these four things are okay, then the work environment is good. It's ergonomics. But in case of having issue with any one of these, like if the work is having issue and worker is not comfortable, then it's ergonomic hazard. And even if the work environment is not supporting him, is not suitable for him, then same is the issue, that there will be ergonomic hazards. So basically, this learning outcome will be about implementing different engineering controls, because it is all about with the work environment, positioning of things most of the times, and positioning of worker even. So it is about implementing engineering solutions, sorry, for ergonomic hazards and control measure. So we will move forward. There are three assessment criteria are there in this learning outcome. It's number one, 4.1, analyze the ergonomic risk factors in the workplace and their strategic and operational implications. In this one, what you have to see in this assessment criteria, you have to see that what strategic and operational implications are there for doing the analysis of ergonomic risk factor in the workplace, that how ergonomic hazards uh, can can come there, can rise there, can raise there. So definitely, so that's why it's all about working on the risk factor which are responsible for creating ergonomic hazards. So in this regard, you will definitely have some type of strategic plan there about the risk factor affecting the work environment. So that is the thing. In 4.2, develop practicable ergonomic solutions that address risk in the workplace and their strategic and operational implications. So do remember, there is a word practicable ergonomics, because sometimes the position of worker or the place or the work environment, the activity where worker has to perform, sometimes all the solutions are not possible uh, to to address the ergonomic issues. So in that case, it is much necessary that whatever the solutions you are providing or control measure you are using or arrangements you are doing, that should be practicable. They are practicable in regard to ergonomic uh, solutions. So it is discussing about solutions. So here in this assessment criteria, the evidence which is confirming that the your management is working towards the ergonomic hazards, or you can say the working conditions, the positioning of workers, the work environment, and work about the work. So whatever the thing they are using to address the issues of ergonomics will be enough for this assessment criteria. Then 4.3, quantify the costs and benefits of ergonomic solution in the workplace. So many times what happened, organizations are not giving any importance, any priority to these ergonomic issues, these ergonomic hazards. So for that purpose, the best thing is that being a health and safety professional, it is even your responsibility that you have to quantify. You have to quantify the cost and benefits. Like if we are managing these ergonomic issues and providing the ergonomic solutions in the workplace, so we are how these are benefit for us. So you have to quantify the cost and benefit. And in case of not managing these are not providing solutions to these ergonomic issues, so what happened to us and what costs are involved there. So you have to give the quantify you have to quantify that, and you have to share communicate that cost and benefits to your management, just to convince them, just to make sure that proper ergonomic solutions are there in the workplace. So any type of cost analysis, anything, any type of benefits, communicating cost or benefits communicated to your top management or to your even even to your worker you are communicating. So any type of even estimate, or you can say mostly any communication which is confirming that you are working or quantifying the cost and benefits of ergonomic solution can be enough for evidence for this assessment criteria. Now we are having number 5, learning outcome. Understand the requirements of the implementation of risk assessment for biological outbreaks and control measures. So basically, in different workplaces, there is a chance of different types of biological outbreaks. And here you is like ecological issues, like ergonomic issues, like other issues. Biological outbreaks is a big issue in different circumstances on any workplace. So in this learning outcome, we will discuss that what are the requirements for the implementation of risk assessment for biological outbreaks and control measures. Like this learning outcome will focus and give you knowledge, and it will make you able to understand the requirements of implementation of risk assessment specifically for biological outbreaks, and in case of that outbreaks, what control measures you can use or what control measures you have to implement or you have to apply will be discussed in this learning outcome. So in this learning outcome, we understand the requirements of the implementation of risk assessment for biological outbreaks and control measures. We have three assessment criteria for this purpose. The first one is 5.1, analyze the requirements of strategic risk and risk assessment for biological outbreak. So basically, as you know very well, in the hierarchy of organization or in chain of command, everything is coming from upside. So so the same case is there. You have to analyze with regard to your organization too, that what are the requirements of strategic risk, and why you are doing the generic or considering these outbreaks, biological outbreaks in general risk assessment. Basically, you have to understand what you have to understand, that what are the requirements for strategic risk and risk assessment for biological outbreaks. So you have to analyze the requirements for that. In this, you can use any evidence like in which analysis is performed, or your organization have performed some strategic risk assessments can be enough for this purpose. Then 5.2, analyze the requirements of immediate, mid, and long-term effective control measures to be implemented. So, what happened? Like for these biological outbreaks, most of the time it is not possible to control immediately. So, in that case, for example, if some biological outbreaks are like they are having a sphere effect and can impact much, should be deal immediately. Along with that, if you need a proper control on that, so mid and long term effective control may have to be implemented. So basically, in this 5.2, it is all about that there are requirements. What type of requirements? There are requirements that if some type of biological outbreaks are there, definitely you should have a immediate, mid, and long-term effective control measure, or you should have a control measure, control plan for them. In this regard, if in your organization and your organization is can be affected by these biological outbreaks, so you have to share, you have to provide any evidence in your from your organization in which your organization, uh, especially your top management, implemented any control measures, and these control measures are immediate, mid and long term. With regard to biological outbreaks, will can be used here as an evidence. So in 5.3, analyze the factors to be considered for a post-disaster assessment and review. Uh, in any organization, such conditions which are uh, not expected, or which are not in the not considered actually, can happen, and in that case there is there are losses, and that losses are too much. like their severity is too much. They have they have capacity, and done a big damage to the any environment, to any place, becomes disaster. So basically, there is a chance of disaster or any emergency condition and at any workplace. So in 5.3, it is all about that you should consider factors uh, which are factors you have to consider, that if some type of disaster happened, you should do the post-disaster assessment and reviews that next time such type of disaster cannot happen again at your workplace. For this purpose, you if you have any disaster management plan there, if you have any um disaster management team there, plan there, procedure there, policy there, then you have to share here, and that can be used as an evidence here for this learning, for this assessment criteria. Now, number 6, understand the likely failure scenarios for chemical hazards and control measures. Okay, so you have seen that in the start, I told you the name of the unit is Digital Technologies and Incident Investigation. But I have told you that digital technologies will be discussed, incident investigation will be discussed, but the main theme on which this unit will move on, or this unit is mapped up, is about the risk assessment, specific risk assessment, and you can say the different risk assessment approach in different situations, in different type of risk and hazards. So, 6, understand the likely failure scenarios for chemical hazards and control measures. So, from where we have started firstly from digital technologies and AR and AI usage with regard to risk assessment. And after that, in different learning outcome, we have discussed biohazards, we have discussed ecology, we have discussed ergonomics, and in the last one, we have discussed biological hazards or biological outbreaks. So now in this learning outcome, we are discussing the chemical hazards. Okay, so here uh, this learning outcome is about understanding the likely failure scenarios. Like likely failure scenarios means that due to incident caused by chemical hazards. So in that case, failure scenario for chemical hazard and how we can apply control, or what are the control measures we can apply to avoid future failure scenarios from these chemical hazards. So there are, for learning outcome, 6, understand the likely failure scenarios for chemical hazards and control measures. We have 2 assessment criteria. The first criteria is 6.1. It's about analyze the safety management requirements of process areas and identify likely failure points. So first thing is that there is a safety management requirement, or simply you can say it is OHS management requirement. What is requirement? That where in your organization you have process area, so you have to identify likely failure points, that where you can see that that things are, or you can see that points are actually chemical hazards, because chemical hazards are mostly present in process industry or process areas. So you have to identify that failure point. So in case of that, in this you can provide a risk assessment which is considering the chemical hazards, and applying the control measures can be used for this learning outcome. For 6.1 and 6.2, a complete risk assessment specifically for chemical hazards, and showing the control measures for implemented for to control that chemical hazards will be enough as an evidence to support the 6.1 and 6.2. Here we see 6.2 analyze the suitability and the sufficiency of control measures for a process area and develop plans for improvement. Definitely, what happened that if you have identified something, definitely you will apply control measure. But simply applying control measures is not enough. So you have to make sure that the control measures you have applied are suitable and sufficient to that specific chemical hazards, because generic control measures will not work for this purpose. And considering this, what you have to do, you have to develop plans for improvement, because always, whenever whenever you will discuss about health and safety or about any management system, there is a chance of improvement. So you don't once you can see that the control measures are suitable and sufficient, still you have to work for improvement. So you have to develop different plans for improvement. And now we are having the last learning outcome of this third unit of ProQual Level 7 Diploma in Strategic Health and Safety Leadership Management, and it is the last learning outcome of third unit, Digital Technologies and Incident Investigation. So, be able to implement an accident a causal analysis model for physical hazards. So it is about implementing an accident causal analysis model for physical hazards. So for how you can use accident causal analysis for physical hazards. So here we will see that 7.1 identify the case of an accident through the application of root cause analysis. Basically, still you are managing health and safety at your workplace, and always you are keen, and mostly people are keen of their health and their safety, and organizations are working on that. Organizations are investing in health and safety management, but still there is a chance of accident, because uh, there is a thing that when it comes to safety, when it comes to safety, the reciprocal of safety is risk. Okay. So the reciprocal of risk is safety, and the reciprocal of safety is risk. But in both cases, like if you have taken the risk, the chance of an accident is much higher. And if you have managing the health and safety at your workplace, the chance of accident or incident will be minimized. But you can't make it like no accident. Still, if you are managing health and safety very well, there is a chance of accident or incident there. So this 7.1 is discussing about that in case of any accident, how you can identify the root cause, how you can, after any accident, how you can know the reasons. Basically, what is this root cause analysis? Basically, it's all about evaluating, assessing, and checking the reasons behind any incident or accident. It's root cause analysis. Okay. So in case of any accident, so you have to see the application of root cause analysis. So here you can provide evidence of that how you are investigating the any incident or accident. more importantly, instead of providing an investigation plan, you have to share the thing in which it is visible that your organization is using the root cause analysis for finding out the reasons after any accident to stop, to limit the rehappening of that, rehappening or reoccurrence of that accidents. Will be enough for this, uh, for will be enough evidence for this unit, for this assessment criteria. So in 7.2, develop practicable plan for the avoidance of similar accidents. Again, once root cause analysis is confirming the reason, evaluating the reason, assessing the reason, and confirming the reason that these are the reasons, then there should be a practicable plan developed for avoidance of similar accident. So definitely accident investigation procedure, and after that, how you are avoiding these accidents in the future. What are your proactive and reactive monitoring plans there? Or you have to provide an evidence of that in support of this assessment criteria 7.2. Then we have 7.3, assess the cost to an organization of physical accidents, financial loss of time, reputational damage, complaints, and general worker welfare issues. So basically, you should have ability to assess the cost to an organization of physical accident. So like the same reasons, moral, legal, financial, you have to make the cost, you have to assess the cost. So there should be an after investigation, there should be some type of costing, how you're costing, how your organization is damaging, or what are the costs which are liable after a physical accident can be used as an evidence here. So in 7.4, quantify the benefits of any enhanced safety control measure. Definitely, in the last assessment criteria, it is about cost, that how much harmful or uh, how how it will be costly for an organization um, happening of physical accident. So in the 7.4, you have to quantify the benefit. Like if you are enhancing the safety control measures and you are working towards the avoidance of a physical accident, then it will definitely give you the benefits. So you have to give the benefits of any enhanced safety control measure. So any communication with your top management regarding the enhanced safety control measure, or the enhanced safety control measures implementation uh, evidence will be enough for this 7.4 assessment criteria. So thank you very much for hearing me. And it's enough for today. And I have explained this unit in detail. But still, if you have any queries there, any questions there, so you can see my email, my number on this channel. So you can contact me for that guidance. So please make sure whenever you are contacting me, so ask questions from me, ask for knowledge lectures from me. Don't ask for creating or developing a coursework for you or things doing for you. I'm putting my efforts here for these lectures. It's just my purpose is to provide awareness, to provide knowledge instead of just taking learners and doing work for them. It is not uh, ethically good, and secondly, it is not uh, not a good thing that if I am providing such knowledge in detail, so you have to work accordingly, and you can complete your qualification well in time. So thank you very much for listening me. And in the next lecture, we will definitely meet in the fourth unit of this ProQual Level 7 Diploma in Strategic Leadership and Strategic Health and Safety Leadership and Management. So it's enough for today. So have a lovely evening, have a lovely day, gentlemen, and thank you very much. Goodbye for this. Goodbye.